All right, fight fans, the UFC has been absolutely insane lately. Champions have been rising, legends have been falling, and divisions have been getting more and more stacked by the day. But let's be real, the sport never stays the same. Fighters evolve, rivalries heat up, and by the end of 2025, the champs we see today might not even be in the picture tomorrow. Today, I'm going to predict the next likely challenger and the eventual champion for each division in the UFC for the rest of 2025. Some picks might be obvious, other might be more controversial, but that's part of the game, man. Let's dive in and see who truly will reign supreme in 2025. Let's go. As of right now, in the flyweight division, Alexander Pantoja is the current champion. He's earned that belt through some absolute wars. Look, some people not love his fighting style, but me personally, I absolutely love it. But even if you do not love it, you can't deny him. You really can't. But here's the thing. I don't think he's going to be the champion by the end of 2025. My pick will go to Brandon Royval. Now, look, hear me out before you curse at me in the comment section. Calm down. Just hear what I got to say, and then you can comment down below, okay? Look, Royval has been he has been on an absolute tear lately since he lost to Pantoja. We know he already lost, but look, he bounced back strong, beating Brandon Moreno, Tatsuro Taira, and I think he's gonna get past Manel Kape in his next fight, which is coming very, very soon. Honestly, I think he's one of the most exciting fighters in the division, if not the most exciting fighter in the division. I think his fight with Kape is going to be a huge moment for him, and he's gonna put a statement like performance and really solidify himself as the next title contender. I completely understand that he's already number one in the ranking, but I'm saying he's gonna be the next in line after this performance. Now, meanwhile, Pantoja is going to be chasing around bigger things, okay? I feel like he's going to move up and take a shot at the bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili for a chance to become double champ. And honestly, why wouldn't he? This man essentially cleaned out the flyweight division. He has wiped the flyweight division with his ass like 3 times already, okay? But here's the twist. I don't think Pantoja will win against Merab. I think Merab is just too strong for him, and his gas tank is just too infinite. Like, let's just be real. I don't think Pantoja will be able to keep up. And personally, after he loses, he's going to return to the flyweight division and defend his belt. And that's when things get really, really interesting, because by the end of the year, and I'm talking about this is like probably like a December fight, I see Pantoja and Royval running it back for the belt. It's going to be one of those fights that just keeps you on the edge the entire time. Both guys are so dynamic and skilled. Everybody knows how the lower weight classes go. Their scale is just through the roof. You know, they're smaller, more athletic, faster. But I feel like it's going to be an absolute war against these two. But here's the thing. I think Royval is going to edge it out barely. And I'm talking about barely. I'm talking about like a razor close decision, and everybody knows what that brings: controversy. A lot of people are gonna say Pantoja won. Some people are gonna say Royval won. It's just going to spark debate all over the place. But at the end of the day, I think Brandon Royval will walk away as the new flyweight champion by the end of 2025. Let's just hope Pantoja doesn't grab this man's back and submits him. Let's just say he doesn't do that. Now, let's move on to the bantamweight division. Look, Merab Dvalishvili is currently the champion, and in my opinion, he's only got 4 real options for his next fight. I'm going to be ranking these scenarios based on what seems most likely to happen. First up, we got the rematch with Sean O'Malley. Now, we all know the UFC, especially Dana White, loves Sean O'Malley. They absolutely love Sean O'Malley. In fact, they love Sean O'Malley so much, the UFC, the day before the fight, UFC 11 Merab versus Umar, they were hyping up O'Malley like crazy. They were talking about that he was going to be on the sidelines watching, but nothing happened. I don't know if they were banking on Merab to lose, so Sean O'Malley had like a fresh opponent, but at the end nothing happened. I still think this is the most likely option to happen. The UFC is making it seem like they don't want Merab as a champion. They're making him fight even when he's injured. I saw an interview he did after the fight with Umar, that he went in depth a little bit, and his last few fights he's been rushed, and his injuries weren't able to fully, he wasn't able to fully recover, and that tells me that they don't want him there. They don't want him at the top. But after this fight against Umar, I think his stock went up, and that might change the UFC's mind about Merab and not rush him into making not rush him into fights like that, because that's just, what are you doing, my boy? Like, he's a champion, let him rest, let him recover. But anyways, I think it's like a double-edged sword. Yes, Merab won. Yes, he got his stock up, but you know how the UFC wants O'Malley to be a star so freaking bad. Now that Merab stock went up significantly, I think I'm seeing edits everywhere when I go to Twitter now, which is insane about Merab, because he beat a Dagestani. Now that his stock it has risen significantly, I think this is the perfect moment for the UFC to make the Sean O'Malley versus Merab, which is more likely now that his stock went up. So yeah, they want him to be a star so freaking bad. Anyways, let's move on to the second option, and this is the fight against Alex Pantoja. And I'm just gonna be frank with you all, there's no chance on Pantoja winning this fight against Merab. But the problem is, win or lose, he still holds the belt in the division. Pantoja, that is. So it's a bit of a tricky one. Even though it could happen, there's some risk involved for the UFC and Dana White, frankly. Another problem, the problem with Dana White is that he's a notorious hater for flyweight champions. I'm not gonna get into depth into that, but everybody knows that man hates flyweight champions. I don't know why he hasn't got rid of that division. There's no actually, I can't say that, but I don't know. Just he hates them, bro. He has a notorious history of hating them, and that's not gonna change anytime soon. So that's a bit of a tricky one. Now, next we got Peter Yan, fan favorite over here. There's a lot of people that's probably gonna be mad at me that I didn't put this second, but it's okay. Look, I got this at third. It's okay. It's still here. He did win against Davison Figueiredo a few months ago in like November, but I'm not sure if he's done enough to get a title shot. I just feel like he needs one more win. He's on a 2-fight winning streak, keep in mind, but I feel like he needs one more win and just to prove himself that he deserves that title shot. I just need one more win, and he's right there next for the title shot. Just one more win, my boy. Anyways, and finally, the last option would be an immediate rematch. This is the least likely to happen, by the way. An immediate rematch with Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, here's the thing. Umar's best win is over Corey Sandhagen, my boys. Corey Sandhagen, look, which is impressive, but I'm not sure that win alone gets an immediate title shot just because he had a close fight against Merab. Umar didn't have to climb the rankings like a normal fighter would. So him jumping the rankings like he did after he beat Sandhagen was in a weird spot, because it seemed like the UFC was banking on him winning against Merab. So it's like a tough one, but I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think they're gonna just go in that direction, if I'm being completely honest. Meaning, if you asking me the question, who will be the champion of the bantamweight division by the end of 2025, I gotta go with Merab, man. I don't see anybody beating Merab other than Umar Nurmagomedov, and he just beat him, so I don't know who beats him. I think he's gonna hold on to that belt for dear life, even with all these potential challengers in the mix. All right, let's talk about the featherweight division. Ilia Topuria is the current champion, and I think there's only 3 main options for his next fight. Let's rank them based on how likely they are to happen. Now, first, as everybody knows, and Volkanovski has hinted at this already, we got Alexander Volkanovski. Now, Volk is a legend. I fucking love Volk. Shout out to Volk. But let's be honest, boys. We have to be honest with ourselves. Like, really, this might not be the best fight for him. He's coming off back-to-back knockouts. The first was a short notice fight against Islam Makhachev. Let's not talk about that. At lightweight, where he got caught and then he moved back down to featherweight, only to get knocked out again. Knocked out again. This time Topuria, I feel like if they run it back, I don't see Volk beating Topuria, man. Ilya's power and technique is just too good. I feel he's just gonna dominate him again. While this fight is the most likely to happen, I'm not sure if Volk should take this, but Volk wants it so bad. But I don't know, man. I don't know if you should take this fight, dude. It's just too dangerous, man. Okay, anyways, let's move on to the second option, Diego Lopez. Now, this one's a really interesting one because Lopez poses a serious threat to Topuria, in my opinion. And if I'm being completely honest, Lopez has a better chance in this point of their careers than Volk at this point. He's explosive, and but the thing, he's explosive, but I still pick Ilya to win because of his power and technique. But Lopez's ability to catch anyone, even Ilya has a great chin, but I feel like Lopez can still catch him. You can't count Lopez out of this fight. Even it would just be an absolute banger. It would be an absolute banger. And finally, the third and least likely option would be Islam Makhachev. Look, there's some trash talk. There's been some trash talk between him and Ilya for a few months. So it's not really out of the question, but let's be real. Islam has his eyes on just bigger things right now. He's talking about moving up to middleweight, skipping welterweight altogether, which is kind of insane. I'm not going to talk about Duplessis weight class right now. I don't want to like leak anything since the video is not done, but yeah, him, Topuria and Islam is, I mean, you can't really count it out, but he's Islam is most likely to fight someone like Belal instead of someone like Duplessis. Well, I still think it's like a fun fight between him and Makhachev. It doesn't seem like it'll happen. But at the end of the day, I think Ilya Topuria will remain the featherweight champion through 2025. Whether it's Volk or Lopez, I still got Ilya coming out on top. I didn't mention Islam because he would be moving up to Islam. Even if he does lose, he will still be the champion in the featherweight division. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the lightweight division. The current champ for that division is Islam Makhachev, as you all know. I think Islam's next fight is most likely going to be against either Belal Muhammad or Dricus du Plessis. Honestly, I put them both on the same tier in terms of likelihood. Why? Well, because Islam, in a sense, has cleaned out the division, in a sense. And when I say in a sense, I mean people that deserve a title shot in the division, he pretty much beat them. Except Arman Tsarukyan. I'll talk about it momentarily. But he essentially cleaned out the lightweight division. There's technically nobody else left that deserves a title shot in that division as of right now. As for Arman freaking Tsarukyan, Dana White has already confirmed that he's not next for the title. Arman Tsarukyan is gonna have to at least fight one more time. That's what I think. At least he's gonna at least have to fight one more time before he gets another title shot. And let's be real, Dana White said it outright. You could tell in the press conference he wasn't very happy with Arman Tsarukyan. He was very mad. A lot of people are pretty much breaking down that clip that he said that he brought the doctors in, and it just made it seem like he was saying that he could fight. He could fight, but he didn't because, I don't know, he probably wasn't going to make weight or something. But a lot of people are breaking out that clip from that press conference that Dana White wasn't very happy. But my guess is that Arman Tsarukyan will fight Charles Oliveira next, and whoever wins that will eventually face Islam. But my pick is that Arman's going to win against Charles Oliveira again, and then is going to get him an eventual rematch with Islam Makhachev. Now, here's the thing about Islam. I don't see him losing. I don't see anybody beating him. if I'm being completely honest. No matter who he fights, whether it's Belal, Dricus, or Arman, Islam just has a skill set to dominate, man. He just has a skill set to freaking dominate. If he gets in trouble on the feet, he'll just shoot a takedown and control the fight from there. His wrestling is just on another level. I don't see him getting knocked out if he moves, even if he moves up to middleweight. And I don't see him getting out-muscled by Belal either. So I don't think Islam's going to vacate the lightweight, even if he does move up to fight Belal or Dricus. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be a permanent move if he does move up. He'll go back down to lightweight eventually. And when he does, he's probably going to be up against Arman freaking Tsarukyan. Even though I think Arman Tsarukyan is the only guy that has a chance to dethrone Islam, I don't see it happening. Islam is just too well-rounded and too freaking dominant. It's going to be the same story as the first fight. By the end of 2025, I've got Islam Makhachev still holding that lightweight belt, no question. Moving on, let's talk about the welterweight division. As of right now, Belal Muhammad is the current belt holder, but I don't think he's going to be holding on to that belt for too long. The most likely fight for him next is definitely Shavkat Rakhmonov. I think that's the direction the UFC is going to take, and honestly, I'm very excited about that fight because Shavkat has been on fire. He just beat Ian Gary. That was such a good fight. And I think he's going to bring a whole lot of pressure to Belal. Now, I'm going to talk about Islam Makhachev real quick. I don't see that happening anytime soon. And that's why I said Dricus or Belal when I was talking about the lightweight division. I had to sprinkle those two opponents there because who knows with Islam. Islam's talking about staying on his weight, then he talking about moving up to welterweight, then moving up to Dricus weight. Like, this guy's literally all over the place. Just pick one, brother. Just pick one. But honestly, I don't think he's gonna make the jump to welterweight just yet. Could happen in the future, sure, but as of right now, it's unlikely to happen. Not super unlikely, but unlikely in my brain. Now, as for JDM or the rematch with Leon, those matches are definitely off the table because Dana or the UFC just announced that they booked a fight night in London at the O2 Arena. So those two fights are definitely off the table. And as for Kamaru Usman, I think he's going to do a two-nut fight. They're not just going to throw him right into a title shot right away. He'll probably have a couple of fights to get back in contention. So he's not going to be fighting for the belt next. Now, back to the Belal versus Shavkat. Though I think Shavkat's pressure is going to be too much, he's got the insane ability to like control the pace of the fight, just wear guys down. I think Belal's going to be able to handle, or not going to be able to handle, Shavkat's pressure, and it's just going to be too much for him, bro. Because think about it, he absolutely mauled Leon Edwards. He dominated Leon Edwards, but Shavkat is just a whole different level than Leon. Shavkat thrives in dogfights where Leon absolutely doesn't. Everybody knows this. Leon, if he gets into a dogfight, you might have, bro, he quit. I'm sorry to say this, but he just quits, man. He literally just quits. If you see freaking Leon on the pads, you might think this guy's better than fucking Usyk. It's absolutely insane how his pad work, his training seems like he's the best boxer, the best striker of all time. But when he's actually fighting there, what the freak are you doing, man? But enough ranting about Leon Edwards. I'm calling it right now. Shavkat by this is an early prediction, might change it, but as of right now, I think Shavkat by TKO, probably in the later rounds. His style is just way too overwhelming for Belal, in my opinion. And I think it will see that come 2025, meaning at the end of 2025, I believe Shavkat Rakhmonov will hold that belt. All right, moving on to the welterweight division. The current champ holder is Dricus du Plessis. Now, he got a fight against Sean Strickland in February. That's literally not that far from right now. So, I think Dricus du Plessis is just going to do it again. He's already beaten Strickland once, and I don't see anything changing this time around. Also, I think it's going to be Khamzat Chimaev's turn right after Strickland. I feel like Hamzat is just in another level, especially against Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. So no matter what happens, I feel like Strickland is definitely going to fight both of them eventually, but I feel like Hamzat is definitely up next after Strickland loses to Dricus du Plessis in February. Which, by the way, I'm going to talk about that card in another video. It's absolutely hideous right now, but anyways, let's move on. Hamzat's wrestling and pure pressure, it's absolutely insane. The way he shoots for takedown is like an animal. It's literally like a bear coming towards you. It's absolutely insane. Dricus is tough, but he tends to like slow down in the later rounds. He looks gassed after round 1, but that's just the way he breathes. That's just the way he looks for some reason. That man looks absolutely gassed after the first one. It's actually hilarious to see him fight, but really, but he really gets gassed around like the 3rd or 4th, and that's when I see Hamzat catch him and submit him. I think he's gonna submit Dricus du Plessis. I mean, let's be real. We all saw the fight against Whitaker, and it was an absolute sweep. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that picture of Whitaker that he broke his jaw in 2. That was absolutely unreal. The pure pressure of that choke broke his jaw in 2. Like, what the hell, man? But just the technique, the way he took him down was so freaking it was absolutely insane. You cannot tell me otherwise that Dricus will lose to Hamzat. Now, as for Strickland, look, I'm just gonna be real about Strickland, man. He's not what he say he is. He always talks about being in dogfights before the fights, in press conferences and shit, but all he does is just throw jabs all night and just pull his knees up, bro. That's all he does. Look, Strickland thinks, look, Dricus is what Strickland thinks he is. And I'm just being real with you. Every single one of Dricus' fights is a freaking war. He always fights a dogfight and finds a way to win. It's that simple. Look, Dricus is a dogfighter. Strickland thinks he's a dogfighter, but he's really not. And you know what the great thing about Dricus is? He's a dogfighter. He makes other fighters fight his dogfight. He makes them fight that way, and that's why he wins. Because he controls the pace. He controls the fight from the beginning. But yeah, by the end of 2025, I see Hamzat Chimaev being the champion. Dricus usually fights only 2 times per year, so I see him beating Sean Strickland in February, fighting against Hamzat, losing, and just waiting for 2026 to see what he does next. But yeah, Hamzat Chimaev is going to be the champion by the end of 2025. So, moving on to the light heavyweight division. Alex Pereira is your current champion. We all know this. Everybody loves him. I love him too. He's one of my favorite fighters. But he's set to fight Ankalaev in March, which is around the corner. Look, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this probably, but I believe Ankalaev will defeat him. And here's why. Ankalaev just has the right skill set to beat Pereira. Look, I know he's not known for a dominant grappler, a dominant wrestler. I completely understand, but I think he has just enough to control Pereira on the ground for 5 rounds. I really, really do. We know that Pereira is striking is at another level, and we saw what Jiri did to Jamal in UFC 311, and also we saw how Jamel Hill also stroked with Jiri. They're both phenomenal strikers, absolutely phenomenal strikers. But just Pereira made them look like amateurs. It's absolutely insane, the difference when they fight Pereira and when they fight each other or other people. It's absolutely insane, man. But I think it's pretty clear how much better his striking is compared to the top guys in the division. But when we talk about Ankalaev, he has the wrestling to neutralize Pereira's striking. Let's just be real. We've heard Ankalaev talk about striking with him like over Twitter and stuff, but I think that he's just playing mind games. I don't know what kind of mind games those are, because come on, now everybody knows you're gonna go for that takedown, my boy. He has Ankalaev has the ability to control the fight with his wrestling, which will keep Pereira from getting comfortable on the feet. Even though he's tried to throw some mental tactics, I don't think that really matters, bro. Ankalaev, will stick to his game, which is going to be taking down and controlling Pereira for 5 freaking rounds. The odd thing is, Ankalaev is bringing like Pereira's past alcohol issues. Like it's so weird. Like this guy's tweeting about that Pereira goes to UFC events for free, and he goes to the UFC events for free to drink for free, which is a little bit strange. I really don't understand what's the goal here to get him mad, but I just don't understand, bro. I don't know what's the goal. You're gonna fight him anyways. Just focus, my brother. Focus. Anyways, when Ankalaev beats Pereira in March, he will still have time for another fight this year, so we could see either a rematch against Pereira or fight Drew Pashka. Now, I personally believe that UFC will likely book a rematch, even if Pereira gets, bro, he can literally get knocked out stiff cold the first fight, first round, everything, dominating, and I still think they're gonna milk Pereira for one more fight at least, because we know Pereira brings in that money. So I think they're gonna milk him one more time when Ankalaev beats him. With that being said, Ankalaev will win the first fight. I think he'll win the rematch, making him the light heavyweight champion by the end of 2025. Now for the heavyweight division, Jon Jones, in my opinion, isn't the heavyweight champion of the world. I'm so sorry, but that's just the way I think it is. And I also think he isn't going to hold the heavyweight title for long. I think he's going to retire, and here's why. When this is the moment I knew Jon Jones was going to retire. It hasn't happened. He hasn't announced anything. I don't know if they're working on the fight. I am predicting that he's going to retire, and this is one of the reasons why. Dana White confirmed that Islam Makhachev is the top pound for pound fighter in the UFC. When he said that, I was like, no freaking way. It's like they're ready. It's like they're literally ready for Jon Jones to walk away from the UFC to vacate that title. That's the first big clue that I got from that when he said that. Now, if Jon Jones retires, I'm guessing the UFC will have Tom Aspinall fight for the vacated title, and I only see 2 options, and I don't really know who will it be, but it's either Cyril Gane or Alexander Volkov. And it's a bit of a tricky one because everybody knows Cyril Gane literally robbed in broad daylight Volkov. The judges robbed him. Okay, everybody knows that. I don't know if they're gonna give Volkov a pity fight. I don't even know. I don't think I should call it a pity fight because he won against Cyril Gane very clearly. So I don't know if they're gonna give him a fight for that robbery, or they're just gonna give him, or they're just gonna give Cyril Gane the fight because he did win on paper. I guess on paper he did win, but he literally lost. He wasn't even expecting to win. You can see the body languages when they were about to raise their hands. Cyril Gane was literally devastated. I see Tom Aspinall coming out on top no matter if he fights Cyril Gane or Alexander Volkov. I think it's just too good for them. He has already defeated Volkov, and I think he will have a very, very easy fight against Cyril Gane. This guy cannot defend a takedown to save his life. And even if he did have a little bit of good takedown defense, he's just too good. And by the end of 2025, I believe Tom Aspinall will be the reigning undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. With that being said, those are my predictions for who will be holding UFC gold by the end of 2025. From the featherweights to the heavyweights, there's so many freaking exciting matchups and possibilities ahead this year. So I'm very, very excited for this year. But these are my takes. I want to know what you guys think. Who do you see dominating their divisions this year? And are there any dark horses I miss, or do you think I'm spot on? Drop your predictions down below in the comment section, and let's just start discussing. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.